Hi everyone, I'm Shin, Scrabble Grandmaster and UK and US National Scrabble Champion. Welcome to the first ever episode of Austin's Gamechangers. If you are a competitive Scrabble player but finding it difficult to reach that next level, this is what Austin's Gamechangers is all about. I'm here to help provide Scrabble advice, tactical knowledge, and ways to study that will elevate the level of play. So this is where my first game changer comes in. Meet Jan Lapierre from New Jersey. Jan is a prolific North American tournament player since 2007 and has played in well over 200 rated tournaments. Jan's peak rating is 966, however, she fell below 700 for the first time in 10 years after the 2022 Scrabble Players Championship in Baltimore. I spoke to her during the Scrabble Players Championship to see if she would like to be the first participant in Austin's Gamechangers, and she was hugely eager to be part of it. And a few weeks later, we got started. The first thing I had to do was to assess Jan's current ability. What are her biggest strengths and weaknesses, and what other aspects of her game did I notice? I assessed Jan's word knowledge on aerolith.org, an online study tool that tests anagram, recall speed, and accuracy. Next, we hopped over to woogles.io, a site where competitive Scrabble players practice, and tested Jan on the puzzle mode feature. Puzzle mode gives real game positions, and the objective is to find out the standout best play according to the Woogles in-game analyzer. Finally, we went through some actual game analysis from the game that she played against the bot on Woogles. Once that initial assessment was complete, my findings became quite obvious. Jan's strengths were firmly with short word knowledge. She has a strong grasp of 2, 3, and 4 letter words. On the flip side, seeing those bingos that earn 50 extra points seemed to be a huge problem. Big enough of a problem to the point where we actually had to cut the 7 and 8 letter word quizzes short on Aerolith because she couldn't get any of the answers. And I was testing her on a random assortment of the top few thousand bingos by probability. I can tell you now, winning games without playing bingos is going to be a very tough task no matter what level of player you are. Another weakness that became evident was that Jan had no real guide as to how to decide on picking the right move.
So yeah, that was just kind of an analysis of your game.
Yeah,
So I
that
guess
was very helpful.
yeah. So again, as I said, from what I'm just from what you've been telling me. I guess you've never really been with somebody that kind of just goes through a whole game with you and be like, this is why you do play a move like this, and this is why you don't play another move like this. Again, just a very kind of standard thing with yets, where no one may have told you to not put the valve in.
This indecision has frequently landed Jan in trouble with her time management during tournament games, where sometimes she runs over time, thus taking a points penalty. So with those findings in mind, then it's down to me to come up with a way to improve on her weaknesses. To get Jan started, I introduced her to the Ziziva card box, a very useful Scrabble studying tool. Let me explain how it works. There are card box numbers ranging from 0 to 15. Questions in box 0 are questions that the user doesn't know the answer to and are ready to be quizzed in the next 24 hours. If this question is answered correctly, the question moves up to box 1, where it may be quizzed again within a 1 to 3 day interval. Answer it right again, it would move to box 2, quiz within 4 to 7 days, and so forth, until when you get to card box 15 and the question may be quizzed again within 24 to 30 months. Higher box numbers means that the user knows the word more solidly because it has been committed to long-term memory and is no longer required to be tested on that question quite so often. Any question that is answered incorrectly will send that question back to box 0, and the process repeats from the very beginning. Questions would simply be a string of letters that have at least one valid anagram. With over 88,000 valid words in the NWO dictionary that are 2 to 8 letters long, I will also need to prioritize which words are most important for Jan to learn. I gave Jan a full tutorial as to how the scissors of a card box works, what words should be adding to a card box and at what frequency. It became evident over the first few weeks that Jan was having some issues getting to grips with the concept of the scissors of a card box. Just a week after our first meeting, Jan played in the Allentown Tournament in Pennsylvania.
Oh my God. That's my problem. I'm always in time trouble.
Okay.
Because I can't make up my mind what to do.
Right.
Rather than just play something, I sit there and agonize.
She won 1 out of her 7 games and her rating plummeted to 641, a new low over the last 11 years. Jan's spiraling rating decline was obvious to see, so now it was time for us to get to work. Jan regularly plays in a weekly online tournament on Woogles.io, so we had spent a number of weeks after the Allentown Tournament analysing some of those games. I picked apart what she was doing wrong and why, and also identified any pivotal moments where the game could have swung back in her favour. I shared a basic outline as to what she should ask herself when thinking about what move to play. First of all, do you have a bingo? And if so, can it be played? If you're not sure, can I find a bingo within the next 30 to 45 seconds? If not, just move on and not waste too much time. So if you don't have a bingo, the question you should ask yourself is, what letters do you want to keep or get rid of? How or where can we get rid of the unwanted tiles? Does the leaf have a good balance of consonants to vowels? How many points does it score? And is the move strategically or defensively sound? 2 weeks after Jan's performance in Allentown, she was straight back into the tournament action in Princeton, New Jersey. I messaged Jan the day before the tournament with some words of encouragement and the reminder of some key concepts that we've been working on over the past month. Her division had 3 players rated around 200 rating points ahead of her, but Jan did brilliantly by finishing in 3rd place, matching the records of the 2 leaders by finishing with 5 wins and 2 losses. Jan's performance rating was at almost 1,000 and her rating shot back up 33 points. Jan's confidence was hugely boosted after Princeton, noticing an improvement in her play and that she was seeing words that she wouldn't be seeing before this project had begun.
But, I felt good. And I did not have one meltdown.
That's always a good start.
Yeah.
Good.
I did go over on one game, but I was so far ahead it didn't matter.
Cool. And you just felt generally just better in general, just like
Yes.
how decision making?
Yep.
Jan played in a tournament in Catonsville, Maryland. She went in as the 6th seed and once again performed above expectation by finishing in 3rd place with 4 wins and 3 losses, good for a whopping 31 point rating increase up to 705.
And saw that you did really well.
I did.
So that's awesome.
Yep. 31 rating points.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that goes with the 33 rating points that you gained in Princeton.
Yep.
So this looks great. You've now had 2 performance ratings of almost 1,000.
My daughter Leah, who had just started playing in tournaments this year and has a rating of 704, was kind enough to play a recorded game against Jan. Jan's experience saw her through, though it came down to Jan's unchallenged phony bingo making the difference in the game. Now a month out from the Crescent City Cup, Jan played in 2 more tournaments. The first was in Princeton, where she finished in 4th place, winning 3 games and losing 4 games, dropping 12 rating points.
Well, as you know, I was 3 and 4, but I struggled to do that. I couldn't find anything. I kept drawing all vowels, all consonants. I kept throwing in, not making excuses. I'm sure I missed stuff, but I did go over my clock once.
And the second of which was in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. Even though you went 2 and 5, but your rating is much lower than everyone else's in division, and you still came out with a performance rating of in the 900s, and your rating went up.
I beat the number 1 seed, and then I beat the person who was Gibsonized.
Which is what, that was kind of the target.
What did
And
you
you
go
went
up
up.
7 points rating? Something like
It says
that.
you went up 20 points.
Oh, well, that's better
Yeah.
than I thought.
There
Good.
you go. Yeah, you went up from 693 to 713. You went up 20 points. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your performance rating was 941, which is actually not even the lowest one in the division. So, yeah, you did really well. Jan's been working very hard over the past 4 months. The Crunch City Cup in New Orleans is around the corner, and it's almost time for Jan's big test. Can Jan apply her new knowledge and skills and record a strong performance in this international tournament? Find out soon on Austin's Gamechangers.